Hola guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I wanted to do the reader problems tag. I saw Olive over at a Book Olive do this one a couple months ago and it just sounded so much fun and I really wanted to do it and finally have some time to get around to answering these questions. So let's dive right in. Number one, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? I'm very much a mood reader and I know I have sort of ideas. I never go into books knowing that much. I never really want to know much about the books before I start to read them, but I always have an idea of what they're about and sort of the feeling that I might get out of it. And so I'm very much a mood reader. So I associate certain moods with certain books on my TBR and feel like I know what reading a book is going to feel like. And so I think that's kind of how I would, even with such a large amount of books, I think that's how I would pick what I want to read, as kind of what mood am I in. Number two, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I will quit. I used to be the type that not to be committed and I wouldn't DNF books at all, but I have just found there's way too many books and not enough time and I just can't be bothered and I can't like I can't sort of explain to myself, or I just can't really justify continuing to read a book that I'm not loving when there are so many books out there that I will love and that sort of require my attention as well. Number three, the end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up and how? Yeah, I'll try to catch up. I will try to read a lot of audiobooks. I'll try to read a lot of short books. I'll try to read graphic novels to try and catch up. But if I really can't, and it's just not possible, then no, I won't try to catch up. I have this year reduced my Goodreads challenge, but I did it halfway through the year when I saw how my reading was going and I knew that there was no way I was going to catch up. And so I decreased it. I think I cut it by like half. And I would probably have done that if I saw that I wasn't going to catch up anytime soon. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I don't. I hate it. I hate when covers don't match. If I love it so much, I will probably buy the whole, like I'll try to go on a book depository or a books or something like that and try to find the matching covers, or rebuy the series in a matching cover set. Number five, everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Not, I guess people online, or just I don't bond with anybody and I keep those thoughts just inside to myself. I mean, I don't really need to bond with anybody over certain things, like over how I feel about every book that I read. There have been books that I have hated that other people have loved and vice versa. And I mean, it just is what it is. That's the nature of something as subjective as reading. You know, there are people who are gonna love books that I'm going to hate and that I'm going to think are horrible and they're going to love it and vice versa. So, I mean, it just is what it is and you move on. I mean, it's, what am I going to do? Fight them? You're reading a book and you are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? I'll probably stop reading for a while until I can gather myself. Or if I'm so into it, then I'll just keep reading and just hope that no one looks over at me while I'm, hysterically sobbing or something. A sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? I will either reread the first book, or I will skim it, or I will look for reviews and things like that online to remind me about the plot and what happened. If it's a book that I'm super excited about, like, so I love Nevermore and this sort of Trials of Morgan Crow series, and the third one is coming out soon. I love it enough to remember what happened, but I will probably still reread at least the second book before I read the third book, just because it's gonna get me in the mood and it's just gonna make the experience, I think, of reading the third even better if I just finished the second. Number 8, you do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? Thankfully, I don't, I shouldn't say thankfully I don't have reader friends. I should say, I would love to have reader friends, but I don't really have reader friends, and hence none of them really ask to borrow my books, so I don't really face this problem a lot. If I did, I might change the subject if I can, or, you know, distract them in some way. I'm like too nice of a person, and I would probably give in and say yes. Like, I would feel bad saying no. Maybe that's not so much that I'm a nice person. Maybe I'm just like a pushover. But if I did, I would just like stress how much the book means, like my books mean to me, and that I don't want them to be ruined. But I will probably try to sort of distract or say like, yeah, sure, yeah, like we'll talk about it or something like that, and then just never bring it up and hope they never bring it up again. But like I said, this is thankfully not a problem that I really have to deal with much. Reading ADD. You've picked up a book and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I will stop reading for a while, give myself some space from reading, or if I'm in the mood for reading but for some reason I just can't get into something, then I will just pick up an old favorite. I will pick up Pride and Prejudice, I'll pick up The Night Circus, Rebecca, I'll pick up Harry Potter, something that I've read a lot of times and know that I love, and I know that I can get through it, and maybe I can just even just skim it and sort of just get back into the habit of picking up a book and flipping the pages and reading it, and hopefully that will maybe I will pick up something that's a lot easier or light. When I went through my biggest sort of reading slump, it was years before I really was reading like I read now, and what got me back into reading was a really sort of easy, fast-paced, light read, and what I read was Fangirl. Fangirl is by no means a perfect book, and I know a lot of people don't like it and a lot of people love it. I love it, and I thank it for getting me back into reading. I went years without reading, and then I picked it up, and then through it I found BookTube and I found reading. So that's kind of what I do. I would just pick up a book that is light or an old favorite. Number 10, there are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Not many. Well, maybe last year I would have bought most of them, or because I would have been working at the bookstore, I might have been able to grab the arcs of some of them. I will sort of prioritize and get the ones that I know I'm gonna love, or that I'm just cannot not have them. I apologize for my neighbors. And that's what I'll buy, and then the rest I might just read on audiobook, and then if I love it, I'll buy it. Now though, like I said, I really haven't been buying books, so yeah, right now I probably wouldn't. There's a Naomi Novik book that just came out today that looks absolutely beautiful. Like, it's probably the most beautiful release I've seen this year, and I really want to buy it, but I haven't. I mean, it's just priorities have shifted and I can't right now, but I would like, if I had the ability to, I probably would just prioritize which is the one that I think I would have enjoyed the most, and buy that one or those few. Number 11, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you actually get to them? I wouldn't say that there's an average for yeah, like I don't know. There are some books that I'm just so excited about that I'll automatically start reading them, and there are some that will sit on my shelves for a year or a few years. I would say on average there's like a turnaround period of about a year for my books, but there are some on there that I've had for 2-3 years, maybe more, that I just haven't read, but I can't sort of bring myself to not have them because I know that at some point I want to get to them. I don't really have a firm answer for this. It really depends on my mood, like I was talking about earlier. If I have a friend that really wants to read it with me, then I'll prioritize it. If it goes really well with a vlog that I want to do, or nonfiction November comes around, things that I like to participate in, though that might sort of make things go up and down in the sort of priority list or scale or whatever. But yeah, I don't really have a firm answer for that. It really varies per book and what I'm feeling like. So yeah, that was the reader problems tag. I will put all of the questions down below and any information that I can find about the original creator and everything like that. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you guys very much.